Okay, good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order for Economic Development and Parks and Recreation. So first up on our agenda is just the approval of our minutes from January 22nd. And we're good there. And we might go slightly out of order because I have a hard stop and we're not sure if Mr. Seats is going to make it. So the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is a presentation from Clement Construction.
Hold the applause, please. No applause needed. Thank you for having me. My name is Mitch Brady. I'm the CFO for Clement Construction. Been working with Mr. Little, and he asked me to come and give an update on some of the things that we're doing in the city of Benton Harbor, which I'm happy to do, and show you what we're working on. So you may recognize the name because we've been in town for the past several years working to help with the infrastructure project. In doing so, obviously a lot of time spent here, sort of kind of fell in love with the area, with the people especially, and decided to make some significant investments to the area. I think right now we are at,
Can we have the chamber quiet while someone's speaking? Thank you.
we've made some significant investments to the downtown area as well as to the outerlying neighborhoods as well. And I'd love to kind of just take you through what we've acquired so far and what our initial plans are with the properties. Sound good? I can, yeah, and I'll just show you some pictures so everybody knows what I'm talking about here. Okay. So we have acquired so far 8 or 9 or 10 buildings all in the downtown area. Let's see here. I'll just start you down Main, and all of our properties from a commercial standpoint are either on Main or on water or in that Arts District area. Coming down West Main, this first buildings are 585 and 589 West Main. Those are on the canal down there. It's right next to Clifford's coffee shop. Our parcels are the parking lot and the two that you're looking at in this top picture right here. Coming down Main even further, this one is 235 West Main. This is the old sign shop. The next couple here are under contract. We actually close on this building tomorrow. This is 115 West Main. Right here, there's an attorney's office in this area right here. And then this is currently vacant. It's right next to Abbenmarsh. Across the street from Cornerstone and Keurig and Verde. We have the lots next to, this is the corner of Main and Water. We're under contract for those lots currently. What I call the pretzel building, because it's got Ben's Pretzel Shop. We are owners of this building as well on Territorial. The first building we bought, which started it all, 218 Water Street, the quote-unquote firehouse, although I'm told by the local museum that it was never a firehouse. So it was a freight station for the railroad. The next two, the big one, Thayer, down here, the Thayer building, we own. That's at the corner of 5th and Water. The one just above it includes most of that block of land. That's Park Street. The one down here at the bottom is the corner building next to Thayer at the corner of 5th and Water. And then this one is behind the Thayer building. That is what we have acquired so far. So what I'd like to do, if we can, is show you a few renderings of what we have in mind for the area in the buildings, what we're going to do with them. All of these buildings will be mixed use. Okay, so what we're looking to do is commercial space on the first floor and residential space on the top floor. Okay, so with all of the properties involved, we'd be looking at approximately 50 commercial spaces available on first floor and about 50 residential spaces available on the top floor. We have also purchased through a different entity at this point about 40 vacant lots, residential lots as well, that we will be looking to develop in the future. Here's just some renderings of what we're looking to do with some of these buildings to attract some potential tenants, restaurants, retail shops. We've done a lot of research. We've done some economic research. We've had Cornerstone help us with that a little bit to show us some things that the market calls for. So just some AI-generated pictures here of what we intend the spaces to look like. We've already seen these. This is the corner. So what you're looking at here is Thayer and then that corner building. I'm told that's where the invention of the washing machine took place, is in that corner building. This is the rear view.
Could you
here.
put that back up there?
Sure. So this would be the view looking from Water Street.
Is that where Out Center is at right now, or?
No, so this is, what you're looking at, the building on the right is the Thayer building, right at the end of Water.
Oh, there. Okay, so
Yep.
so you guys took over there?
Yep,
And you also bought the building from Frank's?
we did. Yep. So the one.
That corner building we bought that from Frank's?
Correct, yep. From Shane and Vicky Franks. He used to own that corner building. Purchased that one, but Greenspan still has the space behind us on the corner. But we have the corner building.
So this is
Thayer
more leading
building.
to Harbor Shores, right?
I'm sorry.
This is the road leading to Harbor Shores.
This is near that road that leads to Harbor Shores over where,
Well, by the train tracks.
right, exactly. Yeah, this is.
By the train tracks.
Fifth and Water,
No.
correct.
All right, thank you.
Before you leave this, if I might, this might be as good an opportunity as any. Presently, the outline of the social district kind of goes around and cuts away from this. With some of the planning that they're doing here, we're going to be asked to extend the social district to go around those buildings. And I just thought this might be a good opportunity when you can see what he has in mind doing there, as to why we would be looking to do that. That'll be coming up at a later date. But it's a good opportunity to show.
Yeah, so I just passed around a map of what the current social district looks like. So, yeah, to your point, Fifth and Water is where we're looking at, right near the top.
Anybody else in the audience need a copy of
One I
this?
got- I have several.
Thank you.
I think I'm running out, but I can make copies. In that northeast corner, this is right where it cuts off.
So the purpose of this presentation is for,
Basically, just kind of familiarize you with Mr. Brady and his company Clements and what they're doing in the downtown area. Just before you came in, we went through a series of the different buildings that we purchased and are developing plans for in the downtown. It's about 6 or 7 buildings in all.
By the time everything closes, it'll be somewhere between 10 and 15 buildings.
For the 50 residential, is that rental or condominium?
Could be a mix of both. Yeah, so what we look to do is really see what the market calls for. You know, not, our goal will never be in any residential aspect to come in and assume we know what the market is going to need, right? We'll do the research, we'll talk to citizens, we'll talk to leadership, and find out exactly what the market will need, and then we can hopefully provide for that need, right?
Yeah, I would ask that if you do, to give preferential treatment to some, maybe not all, but some residents of the city to make it affordable. That's what other buildings have done, just to make even the Emma Jean Hall flats did to make it somewhat affordable. Are you asking for any kind of tax credits?
Not at this point.
Thank you.
Yeah. This here is behind 218 Water Street, the firehouse building. These are some renderings of what we're looking for. So what you'd be looking at here is the space behind, essentially from the railroad tracks. To the right, you'd be looking at parking lot and Mason Jar Cafe. This here is probably most realistic. If you look inside this building, that glass part over on the left is a 2-story atrium. So what we would love to do is have storefront glass there, restaurant, retail space, again, whatever the market is calling for, and then living space on the 2nd story. But this kind of gives you an idea of what our visual concepts are for really all of the properties. Modernize a little bit while retaining the historical charm and value of them, and bringing business and residential space to the area. As Mr. Little alluded to, one of the things that I will be asking for is an expansion of the social district. It helps me attract businesses to the area if I can show, as you all know, the benefits of a social district, and to show that the Thayer building, the corner building, and the spaces behind that we currently own are a part of that social district. Any questions for me?
Well, and this is to everybody. I don't know how far we're going to keep on expanding this. So every week we come back talking about expand it, make it bigger. So we're going to probably end up making all downtown a social district. Because, I mean, everybody is asking us to expand, enlarge, keep going. And I'm not against, this is lovely. I mean, that's wonderful what you're doing.
Thank you.
But the way it's sounding is this thing is going to keep on getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Social district. Do you guys have a liquor license already?
We don't. But that's part of the point. A liquor license is expensive, you know. So for a business to come into the area and need to acquire a liquor license, if I can attract them by saying, we have these buildings in the social district, so essentially it proves the value of them buying a liquor license. We're not against purchasing a liquor license. It would have to be the right type. We're not in the business of, you know, we don't want to put liquor stores and things like that in places. But what we're looking for are restaurants and things that will attract people to the area and keep people in the area.
Understood.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to point out, when you mentioned that sorry. I just wanted to point out when you mentioned that we've been talking about expanding it, it's really been in relationship to the same project. I mentioned it 2 or 3 times before now, but it's about this project. So we're really just talking about adding that building in a piece, and there'll be one more section that'll be talked about.
Yeah, the building we're looking at right now is currently in the social district.
Thank you.
It would really come down to the ones that we were looking at previously.
Thank you.
Yep, the Thayer in the corner.
Commissioner Warren, do you have any other?
I don't have any other question.
Audience, any other questions? Commissioner Henry, will you please come forward?
Thank you, Chair. I know the city has a moratorium on buying property. I want to know, how is these properties, especially the lots, because we have citizens been asking for over a year about buying property, lots. So my question to you, through the chair to the city manager, is the moratorium, how does this happen when we have a moratorium on it?
I don't think before us is a purchase of property. Is before us now, is that the purchase of property?
No, sir.
No, it's not. My question is, if we have a moratorium voted on by the elected official, and we have citizens that have been trying to buy property for over a year, how is these properties being purchased now? That is my question. It doesn't have anything to do with their program other than what, through the chair and the city manager, explain the situation and how it's happening.
Thank you. City manager, could you explain
Certainly.
just directly, just the question that was asked?
The issue is that they're not being bought from the city, so the moratorium doesn't affect. I mean, if you're buying from private individuals, people can buy all day long. We have nothing to do with that.
Yeah, nothing that we've purchased has been purchased from the city. It's been from other businesses, like you mentioned, the Franks sold us some of their property and other things. No, nothing's been purchased from the city.
So absolutely anything. Nothing was purchased from the city. Any other question from the audience? Anybody else have any questions? Hearing none, thank you for your presentation. Thank you for what you're doing in the city.
Appreciate it.
And Commissioner Henry.
I would ask that his presentation gets presented to the clerk so we can share it with more people.
Can you give that, your PDF file to the clerk so she can email it to the commission?
Sure, yeah, and I really don't have a formal presentation, but I'm happy to share, the renderings.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's important.
When is this going to start?
Well, we've already started. So the building at 218 Water, the one that we were looking at the back there, when we purchased it, needed some cleanup. So we've invested a lot of time, energy, and resources into cleaning that building out. The next one starts on Monday of next week. The corner building will be cleaning that out as well. So a lot of these buildings are historical. They have asbestos in them, so you have to do that a certain way. You have to have licenses to handle those things. So step one in some of these buildings, frankly, is to make sure they're clean and safe before we can start rebuilding. And that's sort of the phase that we're in right now, is acquiring and cleaning up. The building at the canal, last week I had an electrician and plumber out there to look at the boat slips and some of the way that the plumbing was done between the two buildings. So as soon as weather allows, we'll get started on those as well. Permitting and all that stuff, obviously, pertaining.
Thank you. We expect great things.
I think you'll see we're serious.
Yes, sir. And I do appreciate everything you guys are doing. Those buildings are historical, and I do appreciate the character that I'm looking at in the pictures that you'll keep, along with building it modernly. So means a lot to the city residents, and I don't want anybody to think the downtown area is going to be something that will be blocked off from the residents. The Mason Jar, people go down there, and hopefully this is the same kind of atmosphere that will be presented. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time, everyone. I
Could I
appreciate the
get
words.
one question in?
Sure. Yeah.
The vacant lots that you purchased,
Mhm.
could I have a list of those? They're down on Main Street?
The ones on Main Street, yeah. There are 7, I'll get you a list, but there are 7 parcels right at the corner of Main and Water, right next to Avonmarsh.
Okay,
And we technically don't own them yet, but we're under contract for them.
okay, if I could have the address.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And again, none of these are being purchased from the city of Benton Harbor.
Correct.
Thank you. All right, so, resolution awarding bid for CDBG demolition to Meltion Incorporated. Is anybody here from Meltion? They're not here? All right. City manager, you have the floor.
As you are aware, we've had programmed in the CDBG program for several years now, money for demolition. We tried a couple of things like I guess a year and a half ago, we tried to bid out 5 properties. Those bids came back $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 per unit, which was obviously too much. So we pulled those back and didn't do anything with them. And I decided that, one, they weren't large, it wasn't a large enough job to attract the kind of demolition contractors that we wanted to get. So we took and packaged a larger number of them and put them out for bid. And we received bids from South Bend, Indiana, Michigan City, Norton Shores, north of Grand Rapids, and so forth. And this time we got some very competitive bids. They range from around 500,000 to over $1 million. But we got bids that we can work with, and we'll get some of these properties down. Then Melching was the low bidder on this project.
With all due respect, this is to award the bid to them. Is there amount? Because it's kind of, we got to do something different with these microphones. I mean, we paid a lot for it, and we got to keep pressing buttons. An amount that we're approving today?
$514,810.
And is that the lowest
that's
bid?
that's an up to $514,810. I say that because, as I indicated, we may have to take some of these off of there in order to get them all done.
Well, it says ranging from 514,810 to 1,110,000.
Well, that's the bids. One bidder, total was $514,810. Another was $520,900. Another one was $755,520. $755,513.20
So the one we're approving,
is the low one, $514,810.
is that going to follow all specs? It's not going to be burying something in the ground or just knocking it down and digging a hole?
No. We wrote a very careful set of specifications that requires them to, if a building has asbestos in it, they have to have a qualified subcontractor that can remove where that's appropriate. They'll spray water while they're tearing them down so it keeps the dust down on it. They'll rent a meter and, from the water department.
So they're going to be the one for 514,810. That's what we're voting on today.
That's correct.
Well, we're not voting. We're putting it on to the full commission.
Yes.
Okay. And they have done this before. They're qualified and everything. You've
Yes.
fully vetted this.
They're a large demolition contractor that do huge jobs as well as small ones.
Thank you, sir. Is there any questions from Commissioner Warren?
Yeah, my comment was just kind of piggybacking. I mean, if they're the lowest bid and they're qualified to do the job and it has no impact to our general fund, I think we would definitely want to move it forward.
Thank you, Commissioner Warren. Commissioner Henry, could you please step forward to the mic?
Question is, how many houses in the?
Can you please step forward to the mic so we can put it on the record? I just want it to be recorded, please.
You can hear me. Don't start with me.
No, I'm not
You can hear
started.
me. You can hear me. Everybody can hear me.
Somebody please press the mic so you can hear
I
us.
don't need the mic pushed over here, Chair. You need to push your mic. But my question is, how many houses in the city of Benton Harbor is scheduled for demo? Thank you.
The question was from Commissioner Henry Commissioner Henry asked the question, how many are scheduled for demo for the city of Benton Harbor, Michigan?
In this particular bid letting, there were 15 units.
So there is 15 units from the city of Benton Harbor, per the question of Commissioner Henry, city of Benton Harbor.
There are really a lot more that need to be demolished that we don't have the money for or opportunity to do it. But out of this 15, this is what we bid on. And we put a provision in there that if the total amount of all the bids exceeded the amount of money we had, that we could reduce, take off what's necessary in order to fit what we have money to do.
That does. That is a little excessive. You're tearing down 15 houses for $500 and something thousand.
It's about $34K a house.
Huh?
About 34.
Yeah, that does seem. I mean, $30,000 per house. I mean, does any of these houses? Because let me finish the question, please. A lot of these houses, some of them had insurance. If they're fire damaged or whatever, we hold some money back to demo them. Has any of these houses had fire damage to where we, because I know for a fact we hold money back from their insurance policies before they're able to collect. So none of these were any of the fire damages or anything to where we hold money from their insurance policy?
None of these would have had insurance policies on them. And again, as I said, some of these were the same ones when we bid 5 of them out, that we got back bids $50,000 and $80,000. Now, in this group, they vary. You got one 65,000, 45,000, couple even as low as 17. What has happened is that the laws that have changed and regulations regarding demolition and the disposition of, for instance, we go through an initial review for SHPO, the State Historical Society, that reviews and looks at whether or not they've got any historical value. Several of these we're going to actually have to hire and have on board a architect to review when we start to disturb property, whether or not they're in Indian remains or whatever. But some of the others, we have different amounts of asbestos and so forth. Some of the properties are in bad enough shape that nobody can get inside to check the asbestos, and that gets it automatically classified as having it. So they have to take it to a Class 3 landfill where you pay a huge amount of money more just for the disposal. So there are a lot of factors that are affecting cost and so forth when you deal with demolition now.
Is there any way possible, city manager, that we can have a picture of the houses that are being demoed?
If I can just add something because of the cost of it.
Please push a button so we can hear you.
I'm trying. This property right here is actually included, 802 Pavone, the church. And so that is a lot of the cost that is in this bid. So now we're talking at, 35,000 per property. This is the majority of it.
So they did have insurance on that property? They had insurance on that?
No.
Well, they did have, I want to, I'm not going to say they did, I want to research it a little bit, because I was told they did have insurance, but not to rebuild. I mean, that would be, that's something that we need to, so how much is this one costing us? Can you, is there other pictures of any other properties that you have, please?
I just Googled and pulled this one up just for reference.
That's the only one you, on the list you got?
I believe that there are pictures of the other properties, yeah.
And also,
Please, so before we vote on it, I just want to know where the the residents' tax dollars are going.
as a matter of fact, if I could just, I'll get those for you. I mean, we don't have them right now, but we'll have them. 452 Maple, the low bid came in at $26,600. And an example of what I was talking about, one bidder, and all of these are professional demolition companies. One bidder bid $60,942 on that one, and one bid
What was that address,
81,000.
452 Maple?
452 Maple. Next one, 410 Summit. This bidder bid 17,600. One bidder bid 46,513.20.
You said Summit?
Yes,
What's the address on
410 Summit.
410 Summit? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to help out the assistant city
Sure.
manager. 452 Maple, they charge how much to tear that down?
26,600.
Isn't that right now?
This is just a Google picture.
Because
It don't look like that now.
we still,
Yeah,
what's the other one, Summit? What's the address on Summit?
410 Summit.
410 Summit? Mm-hmm. The other problem that exists is that we are paying, or because of our demographics, they're charging how much to tear that down?
Which one, 410 Summit?
Yeah.
17.6.
I'll tear that down tomorrow for
And as I said, one other bidder
What,
bid
$5?
36,000 on it, another one bid 46,000 on it. So that's what I say, it's.
Yeah, I mean, so I hate to say it, but it look like we, on some it's right, but on others it's like, you paying for a $200 suit and then you're getting a $100 tie. I mean, some of these things are valued probably right, but because we're doing a package deal, then others seem enlarged, because that little house right there for $18,000-$19,000, I think we can get somebody out there with some hammer and get a hammer and a dumpster and certification to get some of these things down. and I'm not disputing the cost has risen, but that house, how much they charging us for that one?
410 Summit, 17,600.
What's the next one?
1297 Superior.
Could you Google that? Clerk, I'm so impressed with you tonight. You just really you showing out.
And in fact, one that I think everybody be familiar with is 1101 Union Street. Right on the corner of Union and I think is it May? I believe it is.
Yeah, I drive past.
Yeah.
These are small, but what's happening is you got illegal dumping in some of these properties too. Where they're gonna have to clean it out.
They
But
got it.
I'm still not seeing.
Well, let me just, so you have an idea of what we're looking at, I'll read across all 5 bids. First bid was 23,000. Next bid, 46,116. Next bid was 67,200. Yep. Next bid was 78,000.
I think we're in the wrong business. We should stop picking up trash and start tearing down houses. No, that's borderline ridiculous.
But like I told you, these same ones, when we bid them before, we put 5 of them out there, the lowest bid we would get on any house was 50,000.
Yeah, we're getting gouged. So what we need to do is, I would ask that we talk. What is that group they got? Youth Build or something? That
The laws are very specific about what they have to be able to do and so forth in order to do this, as well as how they have to dispose of it. They got to bring us back receipts to show that it went to the right landfill and that kind of thing. These are the best prices that, as I said, we've been going at this now for the last 3 years. These are the best that we've ever gotten.
well, I understand that, and I don't have a problem with the best price, but it still looks like we're getting gouged. So what are they going to do with the after? Are we going to look at selling the lots to, or we're going to look at building on the lots, or what are they doing after that?
We're going to be looking at trying to get building done on the lots.
Thank you. Commissioner,
Okay. I see it's lit up. Okay, I want to know, because it's 2 houses that I'm so tired of seeing, and we've been tearing down houses, but they have not been included. One of them, it's so terrible, I can't even see what the address is, but it's on the corner of Edwards, and I believe that's North Winans, and kind of Pasadena is around the curve. I know it was a woman in her 80s, died a few years ago, and I think from what I hear, she didn't have nobody to leave it to. And it's terrible. It needs to be torn down. And I know on Highland, I believe the 600 block, it was by Samoset Yates. It's torn down, the one on Highland, but the pile is still there.
is that the Edwards Street?
Oh, I believe it's a little creepy, like, oh, did I say that out loud?
Is that it?
Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. Okay, good. Okay, and then there's one on Highland next door to Tiny Yates. She had hers redone, and it's a big pile. From what I heard years ago, the city tore it down, and they were supposed to remove that stuff too, but they just tore it down. You know what I'm talking about?
House that burned down.
Yes, and she had her house redone and
What
everything.
address? Anybody know?
I don't know because it's tore down.
She's the one, Alice, that keep calling about, trying to put her privacy fence up.
Yes, because it's an eyesore and she had her house redone and everything, and it's been there for years.
On Union?
Highland,
Right there on the corner.
by Hopewell Church, Virginia Avenue, yeah.
Like diagonal.
You know, the big pile of, it's been there for,
Abandoned, it caught on fire and now the rubbish is just.
yeah, and the neighbor got her house redone because some of it, it tore, it
Does
burned down
anybody,
too.
what 100 block is that?
600, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, we can sing together, but we can't all.
Well, we can get that information, I'm
Yeah,
sure,
I
the city
just
manager
need-
too.
do me a
I
favor,
just
get the
want it
address.
torn down.
Yeah, get them and get them to me. Just to remind everyone, this started when I first came back on board. We were told we had 56 houses ready for demolition. And that's when we did the initial set aside the money to start doing demolition. Because if you remember, at that point, the CDBG program had been frozen, and we had $2 million that we needed to spend and had limited time limits to try and get it done. When we started looking at actually trying to do those 56 houses, people were living in some of them were still owned by other people out of state. The condemnation processes that had taken place with them, many of them was 2 and 3 years back. There's a lot that goes on in this demolition process in order to get it set up to be done right.
Commissioner,
according to the law.
can you get the address?
I'll get those addresses and
Yeah,
we'll
I
take a
have
look
to
at
go
every
to
one of them.
Tiny, I know her. I can go knock on the door, cause,
What's the
okay,
address?
here we go.
But that's the thing though. So that's tiny house, the blue.
Well, who is Tiny?
Selma J. Yates. She was the one staying next
Y'all talking
door,
about
and her
Tanya.
house. The fire had called her house, but she's had hers remodeled. We did.
So that's where the house look right now?
That's how hers look, but it's next door. It's a
So it's just
lot.
a pile of material?
No, it's a whole house that was torn down years ago. It looks little in there, but when you pass by, look, it's big. It's huge, and
But
it's a mess.
There's no house there though, right?
No, I mean it's on the ground. It's put so down,
The issue is she can't put her privacy fence up.
and it looks a mess.
Well, why don't we, if we tore it down, why don't we just go clean it up?
But to my understanding, years ago, the city was supposed, when they tore it down, they were supposed to clean it up to, when I was told years ago. That was before I was even commissioner, but it's still there. They tore it down, but
No, I
left it.
I know exactly where you're at right now.
That's what I thought, okay.
So whoever tore it down should be on the hook for cleaning it up, right?
Well, here again, those things all took place so many years ago
Yeah, but
that
it's a
there's no
paper
way
trail.
to, and come forward to now, we don't have the ability to go out and pick it up and dispose of it. We've got to have a contractor do it and has to go through all these rules again.
But
If
that,
it's-
that city manager, with all due respect, if that house is already on the ground, we owe it to the taxpayer to at least get them some due diligence to, I mean, even if we have to add a little something to this to get this contractor to go clean this up. I mean, I would rather have them clean that up than to clean up some other properties. I mean, if you have a taxpaying resident that's right there now, is there any way we can, before the next meeting, we can go to this contractor and say, hey, we award you the bid. How much more would you charge us to go clean up this pile?
Let us go back and take a look and see who the current owner is and what the situation is, and we'll see what we can do.
Well, I would like a paper trail. I would like to see, I know who I was told that tore it down and they were supposed to remove it. I'm not gonna say who it is. Maybe I'll, line, I'll tell you. But, if that's so, I know it has a paper trail and that company can go back. If they promise, if it was in the contract to remove it too, then they should be committed and, obligated to do it. And since okay, and if it was, okay, thank you. And if it was years ago, it should take preference over these new demolitions, because it's been there
So you know who tore it down?
from what I was told, yeah, I do.
All right, can you,
And we can look it
and
up.
it's in black and white?
Can you look it up
You got
too?
it in black and white?
But to my knowledge, what I was told,
Well, if it's in black and white, then there's no other questions should be asked.
Exactly.
And then we'll just go after whoever tore it down and tell them they got to clean it up. I mean, that's simple.
Exactly. Thank you. No, they're not if it's who I was told.
I mean, recycle it. No.
No, I just want it down, so thank you.
Thank you.
Include Paper trail, city clerk, can you get me that information? Thank you.
Commissioner Henry?
I just like to,
Commissioner Henry, I love you, but can you do the same thing, go by the mic?
no.
Okay,
I'm
well,
doing what I'm doing and you can't.
all right,
make me,
thank
so
you.
now-
I'm not trying to make
Stop
you.
trying. Don't put me there, and I won't go there. Am I being heard? Yes, I'm being heard. Uh, Let me make sure I understood the future of this $514,000. Did I understand that that price might be negotiated up or down? Did I understand that comment?
The price is a result of the individual bids in total at up to. The price is a result of the addition of the individual bids on 15 units that comes up to that. If I've only got $350,000, then I have to take enough off of there to get down to $350,000.
You have to take some of those 15 off to get to your budget? And how much is your budget?
Right now, it's about $350,000.
Okay, well, as you know, I got a special interest. I definitely want that one next to me to be torn down. It's a hassle. So,
Thank you.
I'm just gonna make sure that you understand that one on Union needs to come down. And don't take it out, thank you.
We definitely appreciate your house next door getting torn down.
And could I say that house on
Can you
Highland
please
40?
come by the mic, please? Thank you.
I'm be nice today, real nice.
I promise, thank you.
It's, okay, can I say, I'm gonna stand up, cause I'm getting right back up. So the house is 740 Highland, the one that has been torn down and, still the rubbish is there. So 740 Highland.
Yeah, I would ask that that be
Mr.
added.
Chairman?
Yeah.
I don't want to sit here and leave anybody with the impression that we can just skip around and change some numbers on these and addresses. Every unit, in order to use this money, has to go through the CDBG review process in terms of what has to be done. There's got to be a SHPO report on it, there's got to be an asbestos assessment on it, and whatnot. As I said before, we're going to look into it, find out what the circumstances are with that property, who owns it, and if there's a way if it could qualify, then we'll do it. If it can't, we may have to pay for it out of city funds.
Yeah,
We'll look at finding a way.
I mean, I've been dealing with CDBG for a long time, and you've been dealing with it longer than me. I know for the last 14 years, I know the kind of the ins and outs and what's qualified, what can't be, and what needs to be. I just ask that we look into that. We can't satisfy everybody, but some things I think we need to look at it, and if we can't do it, then we can provide an answer
Well,
why we can't do it.
We'll do that and try our best to find a way to get it done.
Thank you, City Manager.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Kennard. I apologize. My head was down.
That Jordan house there on the corner of May and McAllister, is that one of the
Is that one of the houses, the Jordan house, the one where the young lady
lost her life there?
lost her life? Yeah.
Because it seems like it brings back some very sad memories. And you find that ever so often people come and bring balloons and so much other things there in memory of the person. So it's just a constant reminder of such a sad thing that happened. That what now?
Yeah, if she still owns that, then we need to go into code enforcement and try to figure out how can we, I mean, well, she has to have, if she's still paying on it, she must have insurance. So, that's something that we can talk to Maurice Bruce, whoever, about that issue. Do we have consent to move this forward? I'm sorry, sir, I didn't see your hand. Could you please come forward? Thank you, Mr. Duncan.
I really just want to know the names of
Mr. Duncan, can you please come forward?
I really just want to
All right,
know the names
well, we're moving forward.
the names
Thank you.
of contractors that
Mr. Duncan, could you please come forward?
are 5 jobs.
All right, well, do we have a consent to move this forward? Thank you.
I'll get it for you.
No, I got it. He's a boy.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I
Just
don't
because we're being
appreciate you.
recorded.
Leave me alone until I say what I gotta say.
Okay, but
I don't hear
you're not,
nothing
you
else you gotta
cannot,
say.
you cannot.
I don't want to hear your mouth while
All
I'm
right,
talking.
well,
And
Mr.
I'm talking.
It's consistent to move it forward. Thank you, clerk. Next is discussion on Fidelity Building.
Just a minute, Chair.
You want a problem today?
Just a minute, Chair.
You're in charge. You're in
Thank you.
charge. Do something to
I-
stop it. I
I-
didn't ask you guys to not bother me.
No.
You're bothering me right now.
Nobody's bothering you,
You
but
aren't
you,
bothering me.
but you
And you're a
cannot,
little kid acting like a
all
little
right,
kid.
but you cannot
I can do
do.
what I want to do. Don't
That's why
tell me
we're
what I
moving
can't
forward.
do.
Discussion on Fidelity Building?
And you're letting it happen. I'm not moving and I'm not going to stop talking
All right,
until I
thank
get
you.
my answer.
Thank you. Discussion
Got
on
an answer
Fidelity
for
Building.
me, city manager? Do you have an answer for me?
Why do we have to?
Why do you have to bother me
But
every
why
time
do we
I
have
come in
to-
here?
Nobody's
I need a
bothering you.
lawsuit. Can y'all help me get a lawsuit against this man?
I just asked you
Because
to
he's being
come
disrespectful.
forward.
You're
to
acting like a
talk.
little kid. I'm gonna treat you like one in a few minutes.
Go ahead and do what you gotta do.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't want to have to.
Thank you.
So don't interrupt me. I need an answer today about that. We got people coming in, fixing, doing.
Discussion
and
on the
all I'm-
Fidelity
all
Building.
I'm
Anybody here for the
asking-
Fidelity
All
Building?
I'm asking is for the name of some of the contractors. And if that's a big-ass problem, then it's yours, not mine.
The name of the contract.
We're not doing that, man. You're not gonna be disrespectful.
You are being disrespectful.
Nobody disrespects you.
You
Just
are
ask you
being
to come to the
disrespectful.
mic.
I'm trying to get an answer, and you stopping me from getting an answer?
No, I just-
How disrespectful is that? Is that disrespectful? Everybody else get an answer in here.
I just-
Let me.
I just
and
asked you to come to
I'm
the
gonna
mic.
get an answer, and you're gonna help me get it, I hope.
All right, thank you.
Are you gonna help me? Are
Commissioner
you gonna
Warren,
help me?
City Manager, are you willing to meet with Mr. Duncan? Thank you, to give him the answers that he wants. Thank you.
You're just as weak as he is. You're just as weak as he is, and y'all is just as bad.
Mr. Duncan, it's not our
I asked you
meeting.
guys not to let this happen again, and you guys doing it again, and you're letting it happen to me again.
The reason why,
You can't tell me nothing about a reason.
all right, man,
You the reason why.
listen,
You the
seriously,
reason why I'm still here.
I'm just trying,
reason why
I'm
I'm
just
still
trying
sitting
to
here.
have a decent
You ain't trying to do nothing but
meeting. I mean,
little money and go get your drink on.
well, let's go together.
And you keep coming up
So
with things
listen.
like that. I'm gonna start talking about that.
All right, listen, this is what I'm gonna tell everybody in the audience. We just asked you to come to the microphone
Stop 'em.
so you can be recorded. These meetings go on record.
You are recording. Telling me.
Are these meetings recorded? So you can't just come up because if it's ever we're sued or we're ever,
7 people
if we're,
there, and then I can't get an
the
answer.
commission, the clerk has.
You need to go to hell.
So if somebody calls and asks for the record for our meeting, if it's not on record, then there's no record of what was said or who said it. Is that not, Kirk, can you speak to the reason why you have to speak? I mean, Benton Harbor is the only place that people want to do whatever the heck they want to do.
Hey, cause white folks do what they wanna
Come-
do.
could
and
you
y'all
please
sit up
speak to-
there and let them do it, and then you don't wanna respect the brother when he come in here and own people. So you are out of line.
Could
and
you
because
please
you out of
speak to
line,
that?
I think I got a right to be out of line.
All right, go ahead and do what you got to do.
I'm
But
gonna
I'm
do whatever I
talking about
wanna
what's
do,
right.
And you can't stop me doing nothing, because
I'm talking about
you
what's right.
disrespected me, and you won't do it again without me
I'm
asking
just
the same
talking about
way.
what's right.
I asked you to stop the last time, and you
Please,
wouldn't stop.
City
I asked
Clerk.
you to stop it, and you wouldn't. I asked y'all
City
to
Clerk,
stop it,
can you
and
please
y'all
speak
won't
to it?
stop it.
City Clerk, can you please speak to it, please?
We ask that you come to the mic so that you can be heard on YouTube because it only picks up if you speak into the microphone.
You make everybody come up to the damn mic then.
Every,
You won't specify
have I asked every,
people who not to
have I asked everybody
sit
tonight to
down
come up to the
and
mic?
talk, do whatever they wanna do.
Stop it now.
Have I asked everybody tonight to come up to the mic? Have I made a difference between anybody?
I came to the mic and you wouldn't let me get my question answered.
Have I asked everybody to come up to the mic?
Everybody, please approach the microphone when speaking.
I mean, this is elementary. Commissioner Warren, please.
So, Mr. Duncan, we just want to make sure
Don't
everybody
talk to me
can
either.
hear.
Don't, if I can't get
We
my
wanna make
question
sure everybody
answered
can-
in here,
Listen.
I don't wanna hear neither one of y'all saying shit to me.
All right. Well, you don't need to be here
I
then.
can be here and you
No,
can't
you
stop me
can't,
from
man.
being here.
You're not going to disrespect
I'm gonna
elected
do what I
officials.
wanna do if you can do what
You are
wanna
not
do.
going to do that.
If you can do what you
You are
wanna do,
not
I
going to
damn
do.
sure can do what I want.
You're not going to continue to do that, man. That behavior is not going to be
So
tolerated.
what are you gonna do then? You gonna come and whoop my ass like the rest of them tried?
No, what we'll do is we'll try to get you with disorderly.
You do it then.
You tell him to shut up.
You sitting up, just you're sitting up
You know,
with,
he tell me to
with
shut up. But he ain't no tell me to shut up.
but your
Or sit
behavior
down
is
like you
counterproductive,
didn't ask
brother.
me, Tell a grown ass man old enough.
Your
to sit down.
All right, so
Tell me to sit down.
let's do
Tell you
this.
to sit down.
Let's do this until we can get a police
I'm done now.
or no. Listen, we can't run meetings like this.
You can't treat no citizen like
Well,
that.
we cannot. I mean,
You ain't no treat me.
this is not
Next week,
disorderly.
James,
I'll be back next week for you to try to do me.
This
the
is
same
not
way.
disorderly.
James.
Is this not disorderly?
You was disorderly when you can't get my question answered,
James.
and you the so-called chair.
All right. So when you get done, we'll continue to meet.
You get done.
I apologize, everyone. I have to step out.
I'd have been done a long time ago if I'd have got my question answered. Y'all playing chief.
Would you please stop it now?
Every time. Anytime you disrespect me, I'm gonna talk about you and everybody you know next time.
That's what you did.
That's not what we get.
That's what you
The problem is,
Oh, I would always.
the problem is that this has been harbor,
Nobody mess with me.
and
Think they gonna keep
they
messing
want to
with
talk
me.
about
Every
Juneteenth.
time I see you, you gonna.
They want to talk about Juneteenth. They want to talk about everything else.
About that.
They want to talk about Juneteenth. They want to talk about everything else. But if he continues, then we just need to go ahead and go home.
don't say nothing.
Go home.
Everything is going to happen anyway.
But to a drink,
Nah, I'm going home with you.
you should come on right now then.
Yeah. So go ahead and do whatever. There's something wrong, obviously, with you.
So you come on home with me.
Yeah. Whatever you want to do. I do apologize to everybody in the room. You know, it's unnecessary. If you're pleased in this meeting, come to the mic so you just record it. That's all. That's it. Is that all right? We all have a clear understanding. Commissioner, I thank you for coming to the mic. I thank you for coming to the mic. You cannot holler from the audience and nobody know who you are.
Stop it.
City Clerk, can you please speak to the reason why one more time?
Please approach the microphone when speaking so that those on YouTube can hear you.
That's everybody.
James.
Say it too. Every time. Everybody.
All right, Fidelity Building. Anybody here on the Fidelity Building?
I wanted to speak to the Fidelity Building, sir. just to share information with the committee. The Fidelity Building, as you may or may not be aware, is owned by a group in California. I believe they invested in the Fidelity Building initially because it had low income tax credits in it. Those have expired now, the tax credits are gone. This is the only property they have in this area. They approached us about a year ago about,
City manager, I don't even want to talk. You can take this off my committee. I don't even want to talk about that. So let's let that go. They sued us and got money from us because of the medical marijuana, and now they're asking for tax credits. Nah. And then now we're finding out that the one that sued us ain't the owner.
That's not what they're asking. Can you just let him finish?
No.
the tax credits are gone.
No. We got sued by the owner who was supposed to be Win Wolf. Y'all don't remember getting sued? Because we adopted the resolution for medical marijuana.
That was the Fidelity Building and block being right across the street from them.
But no. He said he's not the owner. So how the heck we give him, we paid him off as the owner. So how long has this person been the owner?
Fidelity Building has been owned by this outfit in Southern California ever since it came back online.
Nah, that can't be right. We got sued by Werewolf because we voted yes on medical marijuana. He said he was the owner.
I remember that, and that was going about the time I came back. It was because he was taking issue with the distance from the building. And
So how long has the people from California owned it?
Fidelity Building, which is over here, they've owned ever since they,
The Fidelity Building is the Fidelity Building, right?
right over here on the corner. The apartment complex on the corner here, next to right. But Win Wolf has not been involved in that.
Okay, keep going. I'm sorry.
And essentially, all
I don't
it
think
is-
that's the Fidelity. Is that the Fidelity Building?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
So what is?
Vincent.
I apologize.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. I'm sorry, sir.
So basically, what's occurring is that they had offered it to us first about a year ago. They've now found a buyer. And the city and Cornerstone has some money invested in that when that deal was put together. I believe the total is about $570,000 between city and Cornerstone. But in any event, they're now working to try to get this sold to another person. In fact, the company and individual involved in the sale is the same person and company that has acquired John Marshall Homes, Brunson Hill Homes, and the school up on Columbus. And at this point, I just wanted to share that information because it will be coming back to you at some point once we can get all the details figured out in terms of what may work best for the city. Our primary concern is making sure that if somebody else takes possession of the building, if we're involved in it, and that they will maintain that building and keep it up, and that they will also service the tenants in that building so that, we don't have problems with maintenance issues, rodents, or that kind of thing. So I just wanted to make you aware we're working on that.
Any, Commissioner Kennard, thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to make very sure that you all are getting it across. I heard the word tax being mentioned. That everyone that comes in and does work here in the city, because there's been some that has worked here in our city ever since the city income tax has been in place. And everyone is supposed to pay into that city income tax. And there's some that has not been paying anything. Now they're crying that we have the increase, the trash bill on the residents, when everyone that's making millions of dollars here is going out of here and not even paying any tax at all into the city income tax. So I'd like to make very sure that they start getting the tax that is owed, as well so as those that are coming in and working, the contractors or whatever.
Thank you, Commissioner Kennard. City Manager, is that duly noted? Yep. Commissioner Henry.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to make sure that the commission understands what happened back in the day with the Fidelity Building and Cornerstone and Benton Harbor investing in it. Do you have that information through the chair for Mr. Little? And if it is available to us so we can know exactly what, who we're gonna hold their feet to the fire. Over the years, the residents that have lived in that building has suffered a lot of atrocities. And so now that I remember that Benton Harbor does have an investment in that building for low-income people, I wanna make sure that we hold some people's, whoever's buying it and whoever has owned it, feet to the fire to protect our.
Can we make sure that City Manager and City Clerk?
It's exactly what we're doing.
I
Yes.
appreciate you greatly. Is that all on anybody else on the Fidelity Building? Anybody from the audience? Next, resolution approving the 2025 Juneteenth Parade and Festival. I didn't know it was gonna come with music. Y'all go ahead with your bad stuff. Y'all got music going too? Oh, that wasn't no music.
I didn't bring in music. Good
Thank you.
evening. Good evening, everyone. We were here for the safety meeting and found that that was the wrong meeting. We're supposed to be at Parks and Recreation. My name is Artelia Martin Smith. I'm the chairperson for the Benton Harbor Juneteenth Cultural Awareness Committee, who has been hosting the Juneteenth parade and celebration for the past 8 years. This would be the 8th year that we're doing it, and so we're putting before the committee, again, asking, as you have done in the past, we thank the city for all of its wonderful supports in the past, and we're asking for that collaboration and partnership again. We did include a resolution in here, but at our last meeting, we saw that the city has implemented some changes to the policies and procedures for the parks policy. So didn't know how that would affect our agreement. It shouldn't affect it at all. Okay, so we were told that we had to submit the application. So we still need to submit the application. Is that prior to asking to have the 250 waived?
All right. Let's, so the purpose of you coming tonight is to, just to have the resolution to approve the 2025 June, your name is again?
Artelia Martin
Okay.
Smith.
Okay.
You know my name.
Taylor Martin Smith, Miss Taylor Martin Smith. Through the city manager, clerk, did you guys put the application in?
No, because of the questions that I had. Reading through the policies and procedures, there were some things in there that we didn't have to worry about because Safety Director McGinnis was taking care of those things. Okay. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, please proceed.
Okay, so I'm just reading through some of the things like the trash removal. We want to do the right thing, you know, we definitely want to make sure we're in compliance. So, reading through there, it had something said about a dumpster. We've never had to do that in the past. We have provided trash boxes, and we've cleaned up and put the trash in one designated area wherever the city told us to put it, and then it was removed. So, is that still okay to do?
Well, I would ask Fourth Ward Commissioner.
I was trying to stay out of it.
No, y'all can make room for her. Go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, so I am the co-chair of the Juneteenth. And what we're hearing tonight is basically still just asking what we have done in the past for the last 8 years, basically to waive the $250 for the park fee, and just that the city allow us to have it in the city so nothing different than what we've been asking. And I also would like, and to my knowledge, nothing's changed for us. So that's all we came for, basically, to waive the $250 any fees associated for the Juneteenth committee, and the city will allow us to have it in the city again. But let me just add also that Juneteenth is free. We have it free to the residents. We don't charge anything to the resident. Most of the money come from us, the members, and in-kind donations if we can get it. And we do trivia, we give gifts, a lot my own from me. So we can come to the residents and at no cost to the city. And so we just asking you guys to do as you have done in the past. And thank you.
My question is to maybe our clerk or our city manager. Does Blossom Time give us anything?
I don't know.
I can say the Riverfest was not paying.
No, I'm saying, does Blossom Time pay us anything for coming down for their parade?
No, I don't believe that they pay for the parade.
No, because
No.
I have the paper.
What kind of brought this about is that, as I said, Safety Director McGinnis normally would sign or put the reservation in and all of that. He's not doing that or not able to do it this year, so it came to us
Yeah.
to do. And it's asking that we sign it. So I just want to be clear, we want to be straight with the city. The policy is asking for certain things, so we just want to know, like she said, is everything just as it always has been? We don't.
Well, I support the Juneteenth parade.
In the celebration, parade and celebration.
Now, what is a celebration? You're asking for a celebration.
Both. It's a parade and then it's a celebration.
So what does a celebration consist
It's
of?
in the park.
The same thing we
That's in
do.
the city
When you
center park.
when you was there,
Down there.
You was there last year.
after we do the marching, the vendors and all that, we have the
Vendors, all-
celebration. Same thing.
Yep, it's the same thing, it doesn't change. We might have special guest
Yeah.
speakers.
There wouldn't be anything required except the deposit for cleanup, and if it's cleaned up, then they get that back. Now, the policy spoke of, getting it back is the same as waiving it if you clean it up, but that's the only difference.
That would be the only difference
The
then.
the problem that exists is, and there's an elephant really in the room, that our last commission meeting, and you were here, we had a group that has had the park, and we have not responded to them. And I think that with us doing this, we're gonna have to respond. Because they did come to the commission meeting asking the question, why have not they gotten a response? And the truth is, I can say this personally, they're not going away.
Could I help you?
Go ahead.
There is one of the items that is up for review tonight to forward to the commission is a resolution with my recommended policy changes on it, which says that no other events will be permitted in the park except those that are either city-sponsored or city-supported. And included in there as examples is Juneteenth, and several of the farmers market and that kind of thing. So that's not gonna be an issue.
Well, city manager, with all due respect, I don't want to put us in any kind of legal ramifications.
That's with the city attorney's blessings on it.
Well,
let me
if you guys ready to go down that rabbit hole, y'all can go ahead.
Let me just say that the Pride Fest have already found a new location. It was already in the newspaper at the Shadowland. So they will be at the
And it
Shadowland.
was on the news, say they went there.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that, but I'm saying to us that we have to be careful because we're doing this as a minority event. And not that they're not minority, but you have to be real careful.
The point is, it's a city-supported event.
Well, but how in the world can we, as a city,
Yeah, they been in partnership.
but how in the world can we say that we support one thing but don't support another?
Easily, we do it every day.
It's a partnership that's happened for the last 7 years, and the partnership is the city allowing Juneteenth committee to use the park.
Hey, I don't disagree with what you're saying.
And we even
But
did a
I know the
resolution
way
years ago.
things operate in America now, and you have to be very careful with diversity.
But you know what, these seats, the thing with the Pride Fest, it was something that I think they passed the law now that's why they moved from down there and went to St. Joe. Because they're trying to say that they trying to cut it out. You know, that's what's on.
I'm not gonna touch that.
Don't touch that at all.
I mean, that's what, you know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna touch it.
Yeah, I would respectfully request that nothing about any of that is before us, except this item, and that is,
Well, but even the resolution to the parks policy, and I hear what is being said, but I think that you gotta be real careful because you'll put yourself so far in that the city will be liable for something that never was the intention of anybody. Everybody has a right to the park.
That's right.
And how do you gain support from the city? So then you're going to be in the portion where we'll say that one person has the support, but another one doesn't. What garners me to have more support than another? So I support this. We're moving it forward. We do support the Juneteenth. I have no problem with that. But what I am saying is that item number 3, I need to definitely get some legal, I want a whole legal presentation on that. Because you're not going to tell me that one group can say we can get the park, but then another group can't get the park if they're not partnering with the city. These are public parks.
Let me just.
These are city parks.
Point of order. Can we stay on the agenda, please, Chair?
We are on the agenda.
And let me just say, last year, there was a problem at the Pride Fest. So I think that's why the issue had came up. Juneteenth, this is our 8th year, and we haven't never
Well,
had an issue there.
Well, the problem was that you had hecklers out there who were coming out there
Right, and
and
that's
talking
why.
about that they were killing babies and all this other kind of stuff. And, yeah, well, no, we are, the commissioner just, the commissioner just stated a statement, and then I'm coming back to her statement. The reason why they had a issue was because they were out there talking about. That's like if somebody go out there talking about blacks. They lease the parks. I'm not that lifestyle. But if they have a lease on it, then they should be able to enjoy what they leased. And they were out there going ballistic, had a billboard out there talking about them and started antagonizing kids.
I don't know how deep
So-
that wasn't a Pride Fest issue. It wasn't their problem. It wasn't
So-
something that they did,
Point of order, Madam Clerk.
Pride Fest. But,
Thank you.
thank you. You say you will be
We're
moving.
moving it forward.
Thank
I do
you.
support it. I do support it. But I will say that just did the deposit for the $250 and y'all get it back automatically. Did y'all provide the $250 before?
No, we haven't. And that's what that.
Not in the last bill, we have before.
This is.
Have y'all or have you
Or
not?
we have before.
Years ago, but-
Before, Safety Director McGinnis started working with us and helping us with different things. So that is why I posed the questions about the 250.
Do you guys have the $250?
Well, we need the 250, and
That's what I'm saying.
$50 of that will be held for disposal of the trash. 200 will go
So they
back.
don't get the 200
Let
back?
me just say,
I saw that.
200 back.
let me just say, for the last few years, we have not paid, and
No, we
that's
have
why we
not.
do that resolution.
All right,
The
so-
resolution states that it be waived. So if you're passing it, then it should be passed as the resolution states.
All right, no
And
problem.
we incurred fees, our vendors and stuff, that other, people in the other vendors, other events in the community did not have to pay last year.
So do you guys have vendors?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have been.
And a lot of them is.
Do y'all charge the
informational.
vendors?
We charge them, but we also say if the city requires it, but that hasn't been taking place either.
Either.
So y'all have not got money from the vendors?
We have informational vendors that don't have to pay,
Right.
and then we have some vendors that's selling stuff,
Right.
and they do have to pay.
Right.
So
we've
the money,
always-
the money that is raised, that goes into,
The Juneteenth for them, yep.
As I say, we don't get grants or anything. We pay $3,000 or something just for the sound people.
Sound.
And we do all this free, mostly from our membership. So, yes, so we don't do, none of that.
So-
All the fees are,
Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
the issue in the past was about whether or not the vendors had to pay the same fee that all vendors pay to the city, and we require that they do pay. I don't care who the vendor is working with or whatever, they pay the fee to the city. There are no exceptions.
And that wasn't happening until last year. And we took it out of our treasury and paid the city.
For the
Because
vendors.
for the vendors.
Right.
But
So do
as
they
we
come out and
said-
count the vendors? How do they do it? Do they come out and count the vendors? How do they do it?
Well, we were told they were gonna come and,
Let me tell you,
Follow up on it.
we hadn't had a problem until last year.
Last year,
When,
yeah.
city manager took over, and then a few minutes prior to the Juneteenth, he had hit us with fees for the vendors. And so it was a few minutes before, and we didn't want to lose our vendor. We paid
We
the
paid it.
Juneteenth committee for the vendors.
Right. Yeah,
Because of the last minute. Prior to that, none of this had happened.
right.
And then at the last minute. And we paid liability insurance and everything
We've
else.
always had insurance.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
liability
Okay, we've
insurance.
always carried
That's a must.
insurance.
We have to have
That's
that.
a must. So
We
we've
gotta
already
have
done,
that.
we always have done that.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that if we're signing a document with the city, that we are doing what the policies and procedures are requiring. That's what I'm saying. I don't care if they didn't charge whoever. We just want to make sure we're straight. Because
Right.
the city has
Are they straight?
been a good
And the vendors-
partnership
and the vendors know
with
what
us.
they- And the vendors know what they have to do. They
And
know they have to
in
go
this
get
year,
the
they
property,
will
go
know.
around it. They will know we have.
So the
They
vendors,
know.
the vendors paying the city? No,
They should be.
Yeah, they should
they
be paying
paying
the
the
city. Yeah, they
city.
paying the city.
well,
And the health department. if
And
they
the health
food
department,
vendors.
yeah.
whoa. So we're taking money from you, and then the city's also garnering money from the vendors?
Exactly.
Exactly.
And the food vendors
Well-
have to pay the health department
Okay.
also.
City
No,
doesn't
wait a
take, the city doesn't take money from them except that deposit for the cleanup. And as I said, they'll get 200 of that back. $50 will go toward disposing of the trash.
That's what I read in
The other, the vendors pay a fee to the city to cover inspections and whatever else needs to be reviewed. And they have to do that no matter where they are, whether it's down here with Juneteenth out at Union Park or anywhere in the city, they pay it.
And they had to go to the health department and get that, then come down here, and we have a list showing everybody that paid. We have that, we're gonna have that proof in it, this year. Make sure everybody paid.
All right. I don't have a problem with it. I think, I would ask that we just take the $50 and for the disposal fee. And, I mean, 'cause we do have to dispose of the trash,
That's true.
but I don't see no reason for nothing else.
So I just want to be clear, you're passing it so we can vote on it, and you're saying $50
For the trash.
for the trash, but the $250,
Are
what?
you all right with that, city manager?
I'd like a chance to review that before, because I don't know what's in it.
Can you get, I'm gonna pass it forward, and then what we can do on Monday is just amend it if it's something that,
The commissioners.
yeah, we can amend it.
Decide. Yeah, okay.
And just let them look at it, and the city clerk and the city manager. And if it's something that we can amend, because I mean, if we're in a partnership, so this new language is saying, then we should be able to give something. I mean, how can you be in a partnership and you don't give nothing? So I do appreciate the work you've done.
Thank
I appreciate Juneteenth has blossomed. I remember the first year me and the mayor was in a car, a convertible that broke down downtown. And we were wearing the same suit, and the car ran out of gas. We had a convertible. And from that point to now, it's been phenomenal. And you guys deserve all the kudos for keeping it going.
Thank you.
Because a lot of times we let stuff die and we don't keep it going. So,
And it's
I do-
only 6 or 7 of us.
Seven of us, and
yeah,
It was
it's
less,
bigger, and a lot of people.
no
it's
big
gonna get bigger,
corporations
bigger
or
this
nothing
year.
else.
yeah, I'm grateful. I've been knowing Big Archie for
Long time.
a long time, and I've been knowing Miss Martin for
Long time.
Long time.
He knew me at Javis.
I knew her from, yeah, I've been knowing you from Jay for a
Long
long time. And I appreciate the work, seriously. And it's, even last year, I think that the first black police officer
Yeah.
was honored, and that was awesome.
And we honor every year. We'll be doing some more this year
We be
too.
doing
Yeah,
all that.
being like Black History Month, it's awesome. And I want to say that from the bottom of my heart that you guys are doing a wonderful job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we thank the city.
Thank the city. Gotta keep it
We
going.
do. We
Gotta
thank the
keep it
city.
rolling.
Commissioner Henry.
When I look back at the vendors permit, we have had events to come through and they did a master paid for
That was-
one vendor,
Yeah.
one vendor fee for all of the vendors. We allow
That's my
them to
question.
have that privilege, but I don't see that with,
Juneteenth.
our vendors, and most of them are local residents, and I think that if we really are partnering with Juneteenth parade and the festival, that we should give them that, also give them that opportunity to do one vendor
Thank you.
permit for
'Cause
everybody.
I had that down.
Yes.
So, I'm just
ask about-
saying that has happened for other entities that we didn't partner with. They came in and made a lot of money.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. I mean, I think some things we have to allow
Appreciate that. Thank you.
people to make some money. Because I've seen it where vendors didn't make any money, or they came out more of their pocket, than they made. So I don't have a problem with that. We can waive it. I mean, you're the commission. You can do whatever you want to do.
Would the city manager have a problem with it?
How?
To have
The
his,
city manager is a city employee. You're the commission. If you want to waive that, I mean,
So that would be like an amendment to
but
the,
but here's the other thing though. We have to be careful. Because if Juneteenth is charging them, then if we waive the fee, then will Juneteenth waive the fee?
that's not a waiver, I'm saying.
Well, I mean, if they're making money, I mean, it's like a nonprofit. You can't tell.
If I could, I want us to not lose what this is about. It's not an assessment to make money. It's a fee to cover the cost associated with the cities doing its proper inspections and that type of thing to ensure that it's there. If we get into waiving and whatnot on the fees, we'll also run the risk of other vendors coming and saying, wait a minute, I'm being discriminated against because the whole basis in terms of our ordinances for these is about the cost of providing the services that the city does.
I'm sorry.
I agree with that, but when I see other people come in and they get that master
It's not-
vendor fee,
Nobody's gotten a master vendor fee since I've been in the seat.
the PGA did. Now, if you verify it, I can verify that those things did happen. So I'm asking us, if we're really partnering with Juneteenth, which is very important to our community, more so than the PGA. Now, I'm not sure how it's going, but the city of Benton Harbor should get something for the vendors, but it should be a blanket for all the vendors, just like we did for the PGA and Harbor Shores and everybody else. That's
Question.
the only thing that I'm saying. If they're gonna leave that $50 down to pick up the trash, that's a good thing. Because
The-
we need that, but I'm also saying, partner with these guys, help them grow and help our residents in the truck business grow too.
Commissioner,
I agree with her totally. And being that this is a celebration, the Downward Day, geared towards blacks anyway, we should give them special attention to helping them in any way they need it. So I agree with her totally.
Did Rivers Fest, did they have to pay for dumpsters or
The
treaters?
vendors paid for the same fees as everybody, and I believe that they did because Whirlpool made a donation to cover those costs for them. And I think when they did the PGA and so forth, I believe they paid thousands of dollars for that, didn't they? I'll find out for you.
Can you give us the breakdown? Thank you. Commissioner,
Let me just say, I have paperwork showing that the Riverfest did not pay anything for the park. So they did not pay for the park, and they charge tickets, and they also charge their vendors. And Blossom Time have vendors, a lot of other farmer market vendors are there free, and they there like 3 or 6, 3 months or more. We're just for a day. And they vendors don't pay anything either.
farmers market vendors don't pay?
No.
Nope.
Through the
So, and I can name a few more.
city
that
clerk,
didn't.
they don't pay?
I don't have a record of the finances, but we can get that information for you.
They don't pay.
They don't pay?
Because Commissioner,
So who pays for the cleanup?
yes, the city, I guess the city do. So it's been some referendum.
They do the cleanup, but we've been disposing of the stuff.
So we dispose of the farmers is that part of a budget?
It's been part of an agreement that they do each year with Farmers Market in order. See, the Farmers Market is put on jointly between the city and the county health department. And as a part of that, there have been agreements for years on how that.
Does the county give us any kind of money for disposal?
No.
All right, well, point well taken.
Thank you.
I don't, if they're not paying. All right, well, there's a consensus to move this forward. Thank you, Ms.
Thank you, and thank you guys for
thank you,
listening to us.
Big Archie. And,
And so, we still do need to turn in the.
yeah, please do. And then we can do whatever we have to do on the Monday meeting. Ms. Artelia
Okay,
Smith. Is it Smith?
Martin,
Martin Smith.
thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Martin Smith.
That was my last question. Get it turned in before Monday's meeting.
Yeah, let's turn the application in,
Okay,
and then we can do whatever we have to do after the city manager looks at it and sees what we can do. But we do want to still be in alignment with just doing what's right.
you're doing what's right. There you go. Appreciate you guys' time.
Thank you so much for you coming. Resolution to approve the lease agreement for the storage shed at Union Park for Benton Harbor Youth Sports Association. Is there anybody here concerning that?
Yes, sir, I've got the information on that. I guess the best place to start with this is you might recall the arrangement we've had for several years with the Benton Harbor Youth Baseball Group is that they use Union Park. And prior to last year, basically, there was always a need for storage for the equipment, but it basically was just put wherever they could put it. I think in June 22, the roof was blown off of the bleachers back, dugout in the rear. And we went through quite an exchange with the insurance company to get them to pay the claim, which they did. About the time we were getting the claim, we were approached by the new manager of the Benton Harbor Youth Baseball Group, Mr. John Sams III, about their need for a storage shed, which I agreed fully with because it was needed even before then. But he asked if we would be willing to work with him to get a storage shed and He had showed me a picture where he'd gone to another location and seen one directly behind the dugout. They
City
share the
manager, city
roof.
manager.
Yes,
Is it good for the city?
it is good for the city.
All right, anybody have a question on it? Commissioner Henry?
Thank you, Mayor. In the document, you talked about who is responsible for the shed and different things, but the only question I have in the whole document is, they have to clean out the shed during the off-season, and I believe that's a lot of equipment, and I'm wondering if they really did agree to that.
It's their equipment, yes, and they did.
It is their,
Yeah, it's,
and they have to move it out and take it to some other
yes.
location? Is there a reason for that?
They offered to.
Oh, they offered to? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Moving us forward. Next item on the agenda is a resolution to approve amended parks policy. Can you just speak to the highlights of it, if you would, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The basic highlight of the change to the parks policy is that we have had for recent number of years anyway, we charged a fee out at Gene Clark Park. We didn't charge a fee at the other parks. We've had problems in different areas with, for example, last year, we had several significant incidents out here in the city center park, where police were involved and whatnot and so forth. So I took a look at the overall situation with our parks and recognized that we should really be getting some revenue, and although it's a small amount, to do rental for use for groups and so forth on any of the parks. It wouldn't be as high as it is out at Gene Clark Park, but also for this park downtown here, that park's not suitable for huge crowds of people that we don't have a stake in or control. When I reviewed the parks policies, several things stood out. One, that where it's anticipated there'd be enough people that it's needed, it said that they would pay a certain amount for the police to provide protection. I haven't seen anything where that's been done any place recently. In talking with the police department, we've obviously had some repeat problems, and it wasn't just one type of affair. It was a number of different things that went on that just kind of got out of hand because this park is in the middle of downtown with open streets all the way around it, and you can't really provide good security if you've got large numbers and so forth. So I made a recommendation that we, along with the withholding a minimum of $50 to cover disposal of the trash, that we would charge some minimal fees on all of the other parks that we would lease out and allow people to rent. That on this park, we would restrict it to only events that the city is either sponsoring or supporting. As in the case of Juneteenth that we were just talking about, you got a commissioner involved in it. It's a function that the city as a whole, as you said, supports, and that makes it different. But essentially, that's basically what the policy does, is it restricts what we'll do with this park. It changes how we're going to do this trash disposal thing and allows us to charge a fee on the other parks and so forth. And basically to try and assign events or offer parks that are suitable for what the event is. With the city attorney, it's undergone several revisions.
It's gonna be hard. And the reason I say that, city manager, is when you talk about even Juneteenth, there are hundreds of people that come down to that park, and I don't know how can you regulate the amount of people that's going to be able to access that park. So we're going to tell Juneteenth, yeah, have the parade and have their after party or whatever. And I know for a fact that last year there was a lot of people down there. I'm for it. I'm not. I'm going to support whatever the recommendation, but we got to be real careful because, and I know we're trying to not toe the line on what we heard Monday night, but we do have to be careful and mindful. And I'll tell you one thing for sure and two things for certain. That everybody talks about tolerance, but you're talking about a group of people that don't have no tolerance and will come after us with everything they got to prove a point. So I don't know if this is the right timing for this. And I don't know if we should even talk about this in a closed session. But to put this forth at this time, even though they've changed their mind, I don't know if this is a rabbit hole I'm gonna put myself in. I don't want to be a part of this, and I'm just being honest with it. I don't want to put myself in this position to say I have anything to do with this. I think it's coming at a bad time, and I think we should wait some time and let this go and let time heal some things. But I think this is not the right time for this. And if you guys want to vote for it, have at it. But I am not going to have any part of this. Anybody have any comments? Commissioner Henry?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I'd like to ask the question, well, who would make the determination on if, what park can be rented? I know you're saying that, Department of Public Safety has, some concern, will have some concerns on public safety, so who are the other people that'll make the determination if, the event will be in what park, or if we're looking at the size of the event, who is that person or people in the city?
City manager, you got the floor.
It would be myself and public safety primarily, and also whatever staff we have working on reviewing the parks.
You said other staff?
That has been Tamika up to now.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, so is there going to be a criteria on the potential size of an event?
It's not just the size only. I mean, for example, I really would be a little hesitant to have a small children's affair out here on this with cars flying up and down the streets all the way around it. So there are other factors that enter into it.
So that would be to your discretion and the chief of police, as far as public safety, but the rest of it would be to your discretion.
Correct, and that's what the ordinance you have currently says.
But are you gonna give us any guidelines that you're gonna be going on how you're gonna make that decision if it's, what park it's available for it? We need some guidelines, what you're gonna follow, and, so we'll know exactly what to expect, and anyone else that comes involved will know exactly what to expect.
Yeah, I'm not moving that forward. We can push this back through committee. Let's bring it back next month. But I'm not. I mean, you can take it through the legislative or somebody else, but I'm not moving that forward. I just think it's a policy, so take it through legislative, but I'm not moving that forward. The update on Hall Park restoration, I think we all have seen that. If you want to give us the highlights of that, city manager, and then other business, the resolution to approve emergency transfer of income tax funds. After you get that update, can you give us that, please? Thank you.
Basically, the update on Park is that, we are still moving forward with the work in Hall Park, starting with the plan for the habitat restoration that would take place between Highland up to Britain as the first portion of it. We're trying to schedule that out now. Part of it will be impacted by I think we mentioned it before, the bat tree legislation. So some parts of it we can't do until October because of the state's laws about bats nesting in trees and whatnot. Other parts dealing with the invasive species and so forth will be starting on much earlier. The parking along Highland and the alongside the Ox Creek portion that Michigan Gas did last year, that will be getting started this year also. So the big grant for $20 million that came from EPA is basically kind of on hold right at the moment. We're still working on trying to get prepared for it, but it has been impacted by the freeze that was on so far. We expect that it'll be released, but that's kind of where that is.
Any questions? Any question? I'm sorry. Hearing none. Can you give us the resolution to approve emergency transfer of income tax funds?
Yes, sir. In the ordinance that was done for the income taxes, it made provision for use in emergency situations. Madam Clerk, do you happen to have that ordinance there?
So the ordinance is actually chapter 40 of the Code of Ordinances, outlining the uniform city income tax. But what you're referring to as far as the emergency, that was passed by the commission as an addendum in resolution 71717. So in that resolution, the city commission put in a provision that income tax revenues can be used for city emergencies.
What is the emergency?
And the emergency is our cash flow situation.
And an emergency is deemed by the city commission.
So are we deeming an emergency?
That's what the resolution is asking that we do, is that we deem it an emergency and transfer $450,000 from the income tax fund to the general fund.
What is the emergency?
The emergency is the need to pay the city's bills and we don't have the cash flow right now to do it.
So we're asking for 550,000,
450,000.
450,000. And the emergencies just to pay the bills? Is that the water bills or the?
It's a combination of all the bills that we have, includes some related to the water facility, police bills, utility bills, insurance, the works.
What police bills?
I'm saying like some of the items would be the programs that the police department uses that come up due for payment, and which is in the normal course part of the general fund. It's just all of the city's bills.
Y'all don't have to speak at once, whichever one want to come forward, commissioners. Have at it. Thank you.
Will we pay the people's money back to them sometime? As we get more money out of trash, water, sewage, as we go back to some of the income tax that wasn't paid, will we put the people's money back into the income tax is my question.
This isn't being requested as a loan, but as a transfer of the funds to address the current needs. You're not going to have an excess of cash anytime in the next 12 to 18 months. As I pointed out before, we're still trying to carry the deficiencies in funding that cemetery has, that the water facility has. So we're not asking to just borrow it, we're asking that it be transferred.
Okay, transfer. Then I would ask through the chair that the city manager give us, some kind of guidelines on what this money will be used for. We did approve emergency, and, so I'd like to know, because when I hear that we couldn't get trash out for $21,000, that kind of put me to ask the question, where is all the money coming from and going to? So until we get some answers about finance, and it doesn't come too easy to us right now, I'll ask that we get an accounting for that $450,000.
Commissioner Kennard, sorry.
It's quite all right. This is the thing that I had spoke about last year, at the end of your fiscal year, is that when each year they balance the budget. Okay. How do they assess exactly what the budget should be? Is from the previous year or so that what it costs to the bills and everything are calculated? So I'm trying to figure this out. How is it that we are running into such a hole? And what I'm understanding that the city income tax was supposed to have been used for streets, alleys, trees, and things of that sort. Now to take that and transfer it into the general fund, why is the general fund constantly being compromised? It bothers me because then, one of the things they've always said that none of the finance directors are qualified. How qualified is it that we're running into a hole all the time financially for running the city. So it behooves me to see that we got a finance manager here, and he can't keep things in balance or be creative in taking care of things. But then finance directors are not good enough to come in here and take care of their business, and they are placed here, not Miss Hildebrand. Miss Hildebrand, if we come up short or this money doesn't balance out just right, she's not going to be held responsible like a finance director would be. But that finance director is bonded, so that he keeps this money on track. So this is what I'm seeing, that it's a lot of things to me, is leaving a lot of questions. So what I'm looking for is, why should money be taken out of the city income tax, and they're not even collecting the tax like they should from the ones that has been working here for years in the city and has not been paying in? It seems like a great imbalance there. So until something like that is looked into, we really need to have a forensic investigation into our funds here to see, is everything balancing out right? There's a problem. Every time I look around, there's got to be something added to the residents. Money is flowing slow here and there. So it's a question to me. I want to know if we're getting money for what we're paying out. We pay the finance manager, we pay the city manager to manage the city. That means keep everything in sequence right. But it's constantly costing us more and more and more every time you look around. The water bills is up. Each year, there's a percentage added to us. We can't even drink the water. So it's constantly something that's always a strain on the residents here. And then you have people that's making millions of dollars. They come into the city and they don't pay their portion into the city income tax. If I go out and flip a burger, I got to pay a percentage of that money to the city. But then others that's making millions, they don't pay in. So I have a problem with them using our city income tax for anything other than what it's supposed to be used for.
Thank you. City manager, can you speak to the fact of us saying we have a balanced budget, but now we have to add $400,000 to the budget?
Yes. The balanced budget, as you recall, when it was submitted, had about a $44,000 surplus. Practically before the next month was over, we began seeing increases in terms of the insurance. Everybody here knew that, this business of the city being in a hole is nothing new. I sat in this room, as all of you did, when the people from Eagle came down here and did their explanation about what they wanted to see in terms of the that special order they did, and would say, in fact, that's what it was all about. They were saying, is the city going to buy water from somebody, or are you going to do it yourself, or whatever? Along with the decision we made to maintain and keep a water plant, it was about a $2.5 million deficit every year that was a part of that, and that's nothing new. That started back with your emergency managers. It's just like the cemetery. Cemetery doesn't appear in the budget anywhere, but we pay money to cut grass, to trim trees out there, remove them, repair the roads and whatnot, coming right out of the general fund. It's not provided for. You're basically doing the best we can right now to turn these things around and change them, trying to reduce that deficit and move toward being able to balance it, which we are doing. That was one of the reasons paid to contract out the water plant, as opposed to what we were doing, where we had both city employees there and contract employees there. We're looking at all kinds of things and making changes on an ongoing basis to try and improve our overall financial situation. But it didn't get that way within a year, and it's not gonna get out of it within 1 year. It's gonna take a little while.
Anybody else? Anybody have any questions or
Their response on the,
can,
what that money is gonna be used for?
can we get an itemized breakdown what that money's gonna be used before we vote on it?
We'll see. I'll put something together.
Can we make sure that all the commissioners get that?
Push that button so she can hear what you say.
Yes, we'll put something together on it. All commissioners will get it.
They have that copy.
Can all the commissioners get that copy, please?
Absolutely.
Anybody else before we adjourn the meeting? Any public comments? I don't want anybody to be left out.
When my brother here asked for the names of the was it the contractors or? And I think that was not too much to ask for, is those contractors, because if you have the contractors' names, any information that you need from them, we should be able to get that. Our money's here is paying those contractors.
Which contract speaking of?
Are you talking about the contractors, when they come in here, certain amount of, whenever they are doing any work here, a certain amount of money is supposed to be paid into the city, am I right? Don't they have to pay city income tax? The contractors that come in and do
Yeah,
work.
anybody does work has to pay.
All right then. If we have those connections, if we have any questions to get a fair answer, we can get it from them. So I think there should be more transparency, because we're not getting it here. So we have to do everything we can to get answers to the problems that we're having here.
Which, because on the list, the presentation done by Clement Construction was this gentleman here. The CDBG demolition is going to Melchin Incorporated. We had a discussion on the Fidelity Building. Which contractors are we talking about?
Whichever ones he was asking about.
But right here,
Mr. Duncan.
okay.
Number two.
Number two, Melchin Incorporated is the one that's getting the bid, right? So Melchin is going to be doing the work, right?
That's correct.
So Melchin is the contractor, right?
Right.
So Melchin Incorporated is on here, number two. Melchin is the one that's going to be doing the work. Melchin Incorporated, where are they out of?
Norton Shores, Michigan.
Norton Shores, Michigan. That's where Melchin is from.
Okay.
And if I could, I think this will go to the question that she's asking. I wrote the specifications for the demolition contractors, and when I wrote those specifications, I included in there the information about the income tax and the requirement for paying the income tax, as well as withholding income tax from the people who work in the city. That is also going to go into the contract itself. So that's going to be the difference.
So it is Melchin Construction Incorporated, Norton Shores, and they are going to be paying the income tax. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Can you provide, before we vote, can you provide their address and phone number?
We will.
Thank you. Anything else? Anybody? Anybody else? Anything else? Going once, going twice. You got something? Oh, okay. I thought you said yeah. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming out. And I want to apologize, Mr. Duncan.
Don't fuck with me.
All right. Well,
Don't say
well,
nothing else.
I do want to apologize. He is a city resident,
Listen to me. I don't want no apology.
and I do want to make sure that we do have
That's what
character.
I want you to do, just leave me alone.
And even though
Ask for it and you still messing with me.
the only thing I can do is what I do. So y'all have a great night.
I'm gonna give you something else to do.
Thank you. And you have a great night. Thank you, everybody, for coming out to this meeting. Thank you very much.